Good evening and welcome back. Arm Bushido for Drysucks AAR here. And this evening I wanted to create a video based on the differences between arcade and realistic. Now, probably thinking, well, there's a lot of them out there, which there is. And I've watched a couple, but maybe it's also more to re-emphasize to myself as I go through this and show things, you know, that the differences. I no longer play arcade mode. I find it to be very frustrating. I don't like the fact that you're just lit up all the time. I don't like the feeling of the vehicles, which is one of the key factors I'm going to touch on. Because the other reason I'm doing this is when I try to explain War Thunder to people that have never played War Thunder and maybe are coming from another game, I try to explain, you know, there's arcade, there's realistic, and there's simulator. Now, I'm not going to touch on sim. Maybe that'll be another video. However, I will say this. If you've never played simulator mode, highly recommended. One of the other YouTubers out there, Slick B, really got me into playing sim quite a bit. But I still come and play realistic battle, but I do not play arcade, only on rare occasions like today, where I will show maybe the differences between you know, the two. I'm going to show how it, you know, kind of how it feels, the differences and stuff like that. And the other one was, again, like I said, so for newcomers coming from the other game, and I've actually had some friends who've come and tried War Thunder, and they've always come back and emphasized that the vehicles feel weird. And that's because they're playing in arcade mode. In fact, sometimes I will agree that in arcade mode, they just don't feel right, and I think it throws a lot of people off. But let's go into why they don't feel right. So, starting out in arcade mode, and I'm just taking this straight off the War Thunder wiki site here. Arcade battles, ground forces. Let's just see here. Can I highlight that? No, well, let me highlight it when I have it in the video screen here, but let's just kind of focus on it right there in the middle of the screen. There we go. Okay, so ground forces. In arcade ground forces, tank handling is simplified. Tanks move faster, turn faster than they would do in reality. Okay, so let's go back to the tank I have on the screen real quick. This is the T-50, and I'm going to take this out in an arcade battle here and show you guys. This thing handles like something from Tokyo Drift. It just rockets across the field, and when it turns, it kind of drifts and slides almost to the point where, you know, it doesn't feel right. It feels, even for being a light tank, a small tank, it feels light. Very light. Anyway, so back here. So let's go over the and the reason I think that is that not only that the vehicles perform faster, but I think it has to do with what the ground pressure settings is. I was trying to find some exact variables, and they might be out there, but I couldn't really nail something down. So, but just take into account, it's not always just that they're faster, but I think there's also a difference in how ground pressure is applied. So anyway, so we go into that. Spotted enemy vehicles are displayed on the minimap and have visual name tags on them when aimed at. Okay, this is one of my biggest gripes, especially when you're trying to use a TD. Use the terrain and the cover, the foliage to your advantage, and you got this big red name tag above your head. There's just no hiding from that. And it really defeats the purpose of being in something of like a Nash horn. Or tank destroyers are typically, except for the American line, were ambushers. They were cheaper to produce, and the Germans did use them offensively, especially towards the end. But overall, they were designed to be an ambusher. Hide in the bushes, stay long range. They usually had bigger, higher penetrating guns because they didn't have to worry about the breach in a turret. That, it allowed it to, the breach to be longer so they could eject the shell and all that. So anyway, there is also an aim assistant, the crosshair indicating where the shot land. Okay, if fired under current elevation, together with indication whether your shell should be able to penetrate the target or not. Okay, I'm going to go into that a little bit. First off, in War Thunder, excuse me, I have a little bit of sinus issues today. In War Thunder, if you know, it's like playing World of Tanks. In arcade mode, that is. When you hover over the target, it will go red, yellow, green. Okay? And again, I tried to get something to quantify green. Typically, at least what I know from World of Tanks, that when you hover over green, that indicator is based upon if the target was flat. It does not account for slope. So, again, I'm just going to go with War Thunder. It probably does the same thing. Because, again, you can fire a green, have a bounce, whatever. But typically, this tells you that, hey, you have a chance to pen. You don't really need to know the armored vehicle, where to shoot, that type of things, weak points. It's designed, to, hey, it's definitely a handicap. Or a crutch, excuse me. The other thing you don't have to worry about in arcade mode doing that is range, because you can hover it until you have your little pixel hunter there and you can find your target. Okay, and you can even find targets you may not have seen because the gun all of a sudden turns green and you go, oh wow, there's a tank there. Again, another reason why I am not a big fan of arcade mode. Okay, so the final piece of this, teams are composed with no regard to nationality. The only factor is battle rating. Lastly, your vehicle's knocked out. You can respawn the vehicle from your lineup up to 3 times total, plus reserve tank. I'm not sure about that one. I know you can have 3 total. I don't know if you can actually just take a reserve tank and go. So I'm not sure on what they mean by that exactly. Now, battle rating. Let's just kind of go over battle rating. What's the battle rating? Okay, and again, World of Tanks has something similar. The battle rating, and I'm going to show you here. Now, in arcade and realistic battles, the battle rating stays the same for matchmaking. I do believe simulator is treated completely different, and I don't want to go too much in simulator because the focus is arcade versus realistic. And you can look at this chart, and I'll post all the links at the bottom if you just want to quickly look at them, and you can see where the battle rating flies and where you're going to be ranked into. Okay, take into account in these modes right off the top, the biggest key factor here is the highest ranked vehicle in the lineup will only fight other vehicles +1 and minus. Okay, so that's why it's key in your lineup to make sure that your ratings are all kind of within each other, because you're going to pull those weaker ones, you're going to pull them up. That's going to pull up with the highest vehicle. So please try to keep your line. And I'll admit, it's hard. And what I'm about to show you, my lineups are all messed up. I just kind of threw it together. I was kind of looking for vehicles to demonstrate how the physics and kind of the difference between arcade and realistic battles feels. Anyway, so again, yeah, try to have a tight lineup, but it's kind of hard, especially starting out. You're like, oh my god, I got this and this and this. So you know what? A lot of times I just take what I got and roll the dice and move with it. In arcade mode, sometimes you get away with a lot more. Actually, I think in realistic battles, you get away with a lot more because you're not just instantly spotted and lit up like a Christmas tree. And so you might be able to maneuver a weaker tank into a position to take out somebody else. Okay? The final thing I want to touch on for arcade mode, and I have no proof, but there was this article, and again, I'll put all the links, about RNG is here after all in War Thunder. And the article goes into about how this, from Reddit, figured out how there was some RNG, and everybody probably states that this is arcade mode, and I would probably agree with that. There's times in arcade mode where I go, was there some RNG involved in that? Now, it's nowhere near the level of World of Tanks, but it is there, and one of the criteria everybody War Thunder claims is that they have no RNG, but I don't know. And again, take the article unequivocally with a grain of salt. You know, anything, anybody can do anything on the internet. They can fake stuff out. But again, I thought I would throw it up there because it's kind of interesting. And he does praise the engine, and he does praise the accuracy of the penetration indicator. And he doesn't go into too details about that. And again, I don't, you know, I'm not looking for controversy here. But again, I feel, you know, you got to throw it on the table because there's been times in arcade mode I felt that, hey, you know, was there a little bit of RNG there? What the heck was that? Why didn't that go? It should have penned or whatever. Anyway, so let's move on to an actual game. So we're going to start out with the lineup I have right here. This is just rank 1 arcade mode stuff, and I'm just using this completely as a demonstrating purposes, and I'm going to explain there's a few more differences between arcade and realistic and how vehicles come in. Okay, right now I have it set for realistic, and let's flip that back to arcade. So the first thing you'll notice, I have a lineup and I had one of my aircraft in there. Okay, so in arcade mode there is aircraft, but you cannot take your own. As you play, they become unlocked, and it's kind of as they become unlocked, it's kind of survival of whoever can get it first, really. And then when you're up in that aircraft in arcade mode, you get a limited amount of time before hey, you did it safely, you're out, you're back in your tank. Whereas in realistic battle, you can take the plane as part of your lineup, and again, you need to make sure that your lineup is good. There is really good lineups, there's really bad lineups, and I'm going to tell you the one I'm using right now is really bad. But you can take your plane, and if you get up there and fly around, you can fly around till you get shot down. You can fly around, and if you're whatever, go back to your airbase, land, repair, whatever, and I will hopefully demonstrate some of all that in my gameplay. I don't want to drag this out too long because hopefully, you know, you're already getting the gist with the articles and stuff. And again, there's a lot of stuff out there, but I was hoping to, again, help out a lot of people in understanding War Thunder, because I do feel War Thunder in realistic, and again, a simulator is a whole nother bird, is the best tank game out there right now. I'm just not a fan of hit point pools. And I'm just going to put that right on the table. I am not a fan of spotting in the other tank games. I am not a fan of the golden BB that guarantees you to pen. But I don't want to get too much into the politics of it because I do still play some of the others. I am diehard War Thunder. So let's begin. Let's get this going, or we're going to drag this out. And I usually really try to keep these videos to about 30 minutes. You know, I've been on YouTube. I watch a lot of other people, and when they start dragging, whatever, and hopefully arcade mode, hopefully we can get going really quick, and there's not a lot of dead downtime for travel. And in arcade mode, you don't see that because, again, remember, the tanks do move faster, and we're going to start showing you how they drift. And again, I believe that is due to there's some playing with the ground pressure of the vehicle, because you won't drift as much the heavier the vehicle gets. And I'm hoping to do an arcade with my IS-6 to show that you don't really feel that Tokyo drift, as I call it, as much with a heavier vehicle, but it's still there and it responds a lot quicker than it really should. Something as monstrous as the IS-6 should not respond like this T-50. And hopefully we get in the battle pretty quick. Alright. And this map's not... it's okay. We'll make it work. I was hoping for a more open area where I could kind of maneuver the tank a little bit, not be on... oh crap! I want to spawn south. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's get this stuff rolling here. Sorry, I don't know what it is today. Sinuses and I feel like I have a frog in my throat. And I'm hoping to spawn a plane. I'm hoping I don't want to go in too long, and if I have to, I may even tank these things. I need to do that. And I don't know where the hell am I going. See, but already, see how see how the tank slides, and its acceleration is quick. It moves quick. It runs fast. I can tell you right now, in realistic battle, this tank especially, and the lighter tanks perform completely different. They perform like they should in realistic battle. But like this, like here, I feel like I'm just, it's like I'm driving down the streets of Tokyo, drifting around doing a race here. By the way, there is no friendly fire damage in either mode. I won't go into why that is. Most likely it's just due to there's just too much decaying, and it just becomes annoying. And there's no real good way to punish people for it, unfortunately. But yeah, this tank, look, see, it just drifts. Now, that's not saying that arcade, I mean, I find it very frustrating now because I have not done arcade mode for a long time. And so I'm a little bit, I'm actually, before when I did a lot of arcade, I got really used to it. And honestly, I got pretty dang good at it. And, back up here. I was hoping that I did that a little soon, but we'll see what happens. I think I just bounced that shot. Oh. Anyway, if we get knocked out, no big deal. The idea behind this is to show that, hey, this is how arcade mode works, and it affects the physics of the vehicle. Okay, now I'm going to try it, but I can see that my turret is completely foobar. But we'll see here. So look, see, can we do it? There we go. Oh, he's on fire. Okay, that's an M4A305. Still trying to beat on him pretty hard, bugger. See, right there, see the reticle turn red. I cannot pin him enough. Let's see if we can load different ammo and get something out of it. But I doubt it. Oh, but see, okay, I was red, and I got lucky, and I think I hit, like, right at the turret ring. But I'll definitely not go through stuff. Bounce. Now, there we go. There's a little pixel hunting. Look at that. See, we went green, okay? I'm not a fan of pixel hunting. I believe you should know where to shoot a tank and all that. So anyway, as you can see, again, now, the other thing I need to bring up, and I'll touch on a little more, is crew skills. Okay, 7. We'll just take the plane out just so I can show you guys. I'm going to try to hide. The thing, whoa, easy, Tex. That was probably a little bit of my fault. The other thing you got to know about in arcade mode is when you jump to the plane, you just go. So you may want to make sure that your tank is in a place that is safe. Okay? So again, with aircraft, you have an assist. You can target the thing. Look at that. I got him targeted. Now, I'll do a little shooting here. Okay, did a little damage, nothing major. If you'll notice down left-hand corner, there's a timer. That's how long you have in the aircraft. This aircraft has no bombs. This is gun. Remember, this is rank 1. It's pretty basic. I'll try to do a little more shooting. Trick is try to hit the target a little bit. If somebody knocks it out, you'll at least get an assist. That's just kind of a tip point. Let's go into crew skills, though. Crew skills are also not as... You will notice your crew skills are, when they're not leveled up in realistic versus arcade. They do, especially when it comes to turret traverses and all that. And again, like I said, in arcade mode, you get a lot of assists. Even with aircraft, on aircraft, you'll get assist. The bomber reticle, all of that is there in arcade mode. You will get these assists. Anyway, let's try this one out. See this one again. Look at this. It just floats. Because again, they're messing with the ground pressure physics there. And again, I feel this because a lot of people come into the game, and I'll be honest, guys, I'm not really putting a lot of thought into this, where I'm going or anything. Coming into the game, I feel this is kind of a turnoff. Because I have friends who have said, I just don't like the way the vehicles feel, they feel wrong. And, I just say, well, play realistic mode. And realistic battle mode. But then a lot of people, of course, there's a lot of things you got to know, and I'm going to go over those realistic mode. You got to know where to hit the target. You've got to know range. You've got to know how to sight in your gun sight. And if you don't know, there is a rangefinder. It is, I believe I have mine. can't remember if it's defaulted at Y where I have mine. But you can, like, call range. Or find out what the range of the target is. Anyways, hope to maybe get a bomber. I'll show you the bombing reticle if you've never seen it before. But again, in arcade mode, there's all kinds of aim assists. You know, when you're fighting aircraft on aircraft, there will be a lead in front of that. But I really wanted to touch on I'm not paying attention. The main thing is the physics of the game and how it affects the ground vehicles. It's one of the key things that always comes up. And we'll just take it up this. Because I want to show you. Now, wheeled vehicles, I'll be honest, I don't know if they mess with them a lot. They don't, I mean, I'm sure there's definitely a speed thing here. But as far as driving and how they feel pretty much the same to me. Not a lot of difference. But definitely probably a speed factors there for sure. Because it says that. But overall, it doesn't feel like it slides around. I mean, pretty much feels like a vehicle should. Anyway, we'll try to head back over to see. We'll use that. Dushka. Oh, he's dead. He just had left. Oh, 8. See if we can get that. Oh, we're going to win the match. Sorry, guys. Well, I tried. I was going to show you how all this worked, but we are going to win this here really quick. And that's good. I didn't want to go, you know, sit here all day and play to really exemplify, because I really want to spend a little time in realistic battles. And looking at the time of the file, I think we'll be okay. I'm debating whether to pull out the IS-6. Let's see here. Okay, so the IS-6. Let's take that out in a realistic battle. Okay, this is a big tank. This is a heavy tank. I feel in arcade mode, when I played this in arcade, honestly, it maneuvers like a Ferrari at times. Alright, let's do it. Go. But still, it is a heavier vehicle, and I think there's enough weight there, even with the playing of the numbers on the ground pressure and the speed. It almost feels normal. And the only way, if you've never played realistic battles and then you go to it and then you feel how it feels there, then you go, oh, this is, yeah, you come back here and go, this is not right. But for the most part, the heavier, the bigger vehicles do, they hold up well to some of the number manipulating in arcade battles. Again, remember, in arcade mode, you get 3 spawns. So bring 3 tanks. Just make sure the lineup is tight, because again, you're going to get matched to the highest vehicle. And I'll be right, guys, I'm being a little reckless, because honestly, I don't want to be in a match all day long. So, I'm being a little aggressive. So, he's dead. Okay. Yep. Okay. Sometimes in War Thunder, this is a good thing to show a lot of people. You'll see that vehicle go, oh my god, he's alive. Spray him with your machine gun first. Oh, and I'm so sorry, guys. You know what I just realized? I'm in realistic battles, you noob. I forgot I had this set for that. Well, no wonder I thought it felt really good. Alright, well, we're going to show a little bit of realistic battle here. And I am so sorry. I didn't even realize it when I looked up. I was trying to hurry to get a match going so this thing didn't drag out too long. Now I feel like a dumbass. But I thought it felt kind of nice. Now I'm going to drive around with you guys. Where is... Let's just take our stolid... Oh, I got killed. Beautiful. Alright, well, anyway, maybe I'll drop out of this. I feel really bad on that. Now I feel like my video's going to be all messed up, but whatever. You guys probably get the point. In fact, okay, so we just... Hopefully, if I get kicked back, I will... Oh. Oh, I don't want to do that. I hate it. If I don't know, I won't be able to come back in. Alright, sorry guys, I gotta hurry and play the anti-aircraft gun here. And I need to swap this thing out. See? This is not a good lineup. And to be fair, there is a little bit of handling's a little tighter on a wheeled vehicle. And again, I apologize for one for messing this up. Two, I have stepped away from arcade in a long time. Most of my stuff is set to realistic battle. And so, I'm gonna go. Honestly, I think my team has got this. I feel like they got it under control. So if I go bolo this and just go YOLO, I'm gonna go all Thunder RNG in here and just plow into the next line over. Watch this, I'll do it and I won't get killed. Run around for an hour and not get killed. I'm gonna shoot that thing, but if I can. Back it up, come on, car. Oh, that's one of mine. No, it's not. What the hell am I thinking? See? This is... Now I feel really like a noob. No, that is an enemy tank. Thank you very much. See? This is where the difference between realistic and arcade. He is not marked, and for a minute... This would be really funny if he's not going to pay attention to me, and I actually take him out. That. Oh shit. No, he's... Ah! But I distracted him enough, and I've done a video on that. Watch my other video I posted about AA. And how it can just be the harassing. And usually, you know, yeah, I don't kill things, but this thing drives bad. See? Okay. For whatever reason, I don't know if that's a bug or what, but you won't know that, and you gotta assume them vehicles are dead. They're sitting in the middle of our whole damn group, and no one's shooting at them. They've got to be dead. But if you just want to get it, just shoot them a little. Use your coax. Don't use your main gun. Don't waste your main gun. And that happens. Again, I guess I can't quantify if it happens in arcade mode because I haven't played it so damn long. Anyway, I'm trying to see if I can find an air target. Because the other thing you cannot do in realistic mode is you cannot target. You cannot like target. So I'm trying to find the aircraft guy. Their team is just they're foobar. Come on, guys, finish this. Okay, so again, I apologize. My dumbass didn't do that right, but threw that completely out of whack. Now I feel like I should go play the IS-6 in arcade mode again, just to prove a point. But I feel it'll drag out a little bit. And I'm trying to keep the video, like I said, I'm trying to keep it kind of short. But anyway, so let me just pull up. Let's just go over the. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so let's go over ground forces. Realistic. Okay, now in ground forces, characteristics of the realistic mode are similar to the aviation realistic mode. Tank behavior, and I know how to spell behavior there, is more realistic. Tanks feel overall much more heavy. They do. They accelerate slower, they lose more speed in turns, they do not slide so much, they handle more jerky like a real tank. A tank kind of, you know, it should, the way tanks drove, you know, especially back in the day, it was just two levers, like a bulldozer, or a modern bulldozer even, you know, it's not the same thing anymore, but the principle with the way the tracks work is, it's just that the driver doesn't know it. But before, you just kind of locked one side, pulled the rest, that type of thing. Traversing the turn, aiming the gun at the target also takes much more time. Some cruise skills become very obvious. Inexperienced gunner first rotates the turret and only then slowly adjusts the gun elevation. Experienced gunner can do both tasks at the same time. Then when your tank is hit and needs a field repair, doing it takes much longer than it does in arcade battles, often up to 2 minutes. Battles themselves change as well. Only certain maps are played, and they are usually larger than the original. Teams are additionally sorted by nation, i.e. Soviets versus German. However, and this happens a lot, occasionally they are mixed because they can't get quite one to enough, but for the most part, I shouldn't say that. A lot of times for me it's 50-50. You know, either I'm all German, all Soviet, or a mix or whatever. Last, the important difference are visuals. There is no colored crosshair, so like I said, you don't know where to shoot. And you must know range, or how to range your gun, and you must know the range of the target. And I'll show you the range indicator here in a minute. And when you fire this, you need to know, and here's another key factor, you need to know to load the right shell. Just because you fire that APCR, I can tell you right now, you better be ready for it to bounce. You need to get, with APCRs, they have a high rate of bounce. Most of the time, you're going to be firing solid shot until you get in the upper tier where you get heat or heat FS. Only do you, I think it's the Chieftains, and I don't know. I'll be honest, guys, I don't have super high tier when you start getting the Sabat. Do you really get the good kinetic penetrator? The APCR really bounces a lot. There's a high shade of bounce, especially if a tank like an IS-6 has a tremendous amount of sloping. So, anyway, enemy vehicles are also not displayed on the minimap. Okay, again, you do not see the enemy. There's no name tag. They don't show up on the minimap. Any of that. Only a red color circle is briefly displayed on the minimap when a nearby ally spots a vehicle, approximately showing you the position of some unknown enemy. So it'll kind of blip on the radar and go away. Okay? So, let me flip back to my ground special. Okay? And then we're going to flip this to realistic. So again, realistic mode. Okay. We're going to do realistic mode, and I want to do this again with these vehicles, because, again, I'll throw the IS-6, I think, if this doesn't feel like it's going too long, again, into arcade mode. But, again, the heavier tanks don't seem to suffer. I mean, they do respond better, but they're not quite as obvious as, say, the lower tier vehicles. And we'll wait and see how long this takes. As far as BR goes, same method. Highest vehicle is what you're going to get matched with. Realistic battles, you need to have a good combined arms lineup. And I did another video on this where I just feel, make sure you bring, you know, I know a lot of people, I like the ground forces. I don't fly a ton, but I do some. You need to bring a plane. You need to bring a tank. You need to bring a little bit of everything. Okay? So, here we go. Okay, so here is We're going to spawn in our T-50, and as you noted before, when I started out, it would slide, slip and slide kind of thing. Already, yep. You can just feel, see, and it's not rocketing off. It's, I mean, and this thing gets moving, don't get me wrong, it'll get moving, but it doesn't do that drift as bad. It does it somewhat once they get a little bit more momentum built, but overall, the handling, it just feels so much better. It feels more like it should. All right. All right, let's go YOLO and get this in here and see if we can get it. Oh, target. I don't know where I'm getting hit from. Back. Stuck! I'm gonna use my gun sight to try to drop this round right through his. There. That's what I'm gonna do. There's another one there. Is that my gun? No, that's one. Okay, so realistic value, your team does show up. By the way, binoculars become your best friend in RB battles. And again, I'm being a little bit of a YOLO here because I'm just trying to demonstrate. See where I can move that. I'll tell you what, that is a pretty big hole in the side of my turret for not taking a whole ton of damage. Bring it. Oh, I did. Coming after you, buddy. We're gonna wing this sucker. Oh, he got me. Good job. Good job. Anyway, we got some good points here. And again, I'm not here to just display my awesome gaming skills. Most all of you can smoke me. So, but I am going to take out the plane so I can show that. So I have bombs loaded, and I will show how bombing again. First off, this plane again. I don't do this much. You need to open up your bomb bay doors. Flying is a little bit more in realistic battles. I fly with keyboard and mouse. I've got pretty good at it. But it can be a little more temperamental than arcade. You're not going to get the leading indicator. You're not going to be able to make your target. And when you go to bomb, there's not going to be the bomb reticle. So it really becomes down to you can use this one. There we go again. There we go. And you can zoom in, but you don't have that third-person assist one. Now, in this plane, I have to hit the bombing thing once to open my bomb bay doors. Where do I want to go? Let's see. Oh, there's one right there. He just keeps smoking. I'll dump two. Get it. Alright. And I want to assume that he got knocked. Maybe I did get him. Now, this is a bad plane. This is not a good plane for a lineup. It has zero guns. I just missed really bad. Whatever. Okay, I wanted to demonstrate this anyway. Okay, so now I am out. I have no guns. What I have to do is I have to fly back and land, repair if I need to repair, and reload if I need to reload. That's the only thing you can do in realistic battles. In arcade mode, when you take the plane, if you shoot a lot of ammo, it will auto-reload in the air, but it's a time-based thing, and usually you run out of time before you get reloaded. So it's just the way it is. I'm just gonna. Unfortunately, at 80 degrees 17, we're losing. For the sake of video purposes, we're coming in. We're gonna come in hard. This is I should say one bomb. That's another type. The way to kamikaze, I should say this. The way to kamikaze is come in like that and drop your bomb at the last minute. Anyway, we're going to take out another tank. Let's see how this goes. Alright, here we go. And again, this tank, good example. Oh, I killed him. See, it feels so much better. You don't feel that swirly. I mean, it's got a little bit. I mean, it's a small tank, but if you'll notice when I zigzag like that, the speed, the momentum just drops off. That came from. Again, I'm not trying to be super, no. Gotta get some points here, boys. Again, I'm. Whoa! Hey there, Tex. Whoa! There we go. What did we get hit by? All right. Nice. Oh, come on! I've earned enough points. Screw it together. Hell, I come back and probably have enough points for the next one. Oh well. Alright, let's see. They got some aircraft out here. Come on. Okay, there's no... As you can see, there's no... That was good. Anyway, there's no... You have to... Shooting at A takes a little bit of practice. And again, I got a good video I did last weekend. Last weekend. That kind of exemplifies. Once you start getting pretty good with it. And this guy's just waiting around here. He's just waiting. Anyway, I think I got the point across. Okay, so there you have it. There's the differences, and I'll put all the links so you can go read between arcade and realistic gameplay. And my final note on this, and again, I apologize for mixing up my video there a little bit. I'm recording this in one long stream, and at this point, I think I'm just rolling with it. I hope everybody gets the point. And as always, put comments down below. If you know information I do not, or know something, hey, post it. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. But my ultimate kind of goal with this was, one, to help out people that are not familiar. Two, to kind of educate myself a little bit more what I thought I knew. And the other thing is that I'm not a fan of arcade gameplay. And I recommend everybody, if you have not done realistic gameplay, please come and do it. Do realistic gameplay. In fact, I recommend going all the way to sim. If you've never done sim, do sim. But, baby steps, I guess. I never did a lot of sim. I started out in arcade, and then when I started getting into once I started doing realistic battle mode and just doing it, and I went, oh my god, how can you ever go back? And sim, now sim, I'm doing more sim, but I can still come back to realistic gameplay. You know, it just depends on my mood. But anyway, I hope you all enjoy this video. Again, I apologize for being a noob, and I hope that this gets the point across. And once again, please, you know, pass it around, give me a, you know, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. And again, I hope this helps out. Anyway, this is again Arm Bushido for Dry Sucks AR, and you all have a fantastic evening.